Why? Why do we overland? That's a good question.
Yeah. So when we were in our 30s, we actually had some friends who passed away well before they were, let's say, 50. And it kind of shook us a little bit, the idea, that, nothing in life is guaranteed. We saw it, personally in our friend circle. And in my family, there has been quite a few people who never made it to retirement age.
For me, traveling has always been like something I wanted to do. Every time I had the opportunity to travel, I
Took it.
took it. So before living our regular life, I was like electrical engineer working for Magna Electronics. So I had like a very good job that I really enjoyed.
I think some people get into this lifestyle maybe because they're not happy with their jobs or their careers.
Or
and
their relationship.
Or the relationship, but that wasn't the case for you. We had a really nice house on a lake. We owned several boats and toys and things, and from the outside it looked like we were, really comfortable, and we were.
Yeah.
But it just always felt like, I don't know, something was missing, and that we weren't experiencing life enough. We didn't get enough time together, I felt, because we were working so much.
I was working a lot more hours than 40 hours a
Yeah,
week.
you were working 60 hours a week, almost
Yeah.
always.
Yeah. So, I mean,
And when we were working different shifts, like he was working during the day and I was working nights and weekends in real estate. So, I mean, we weren't even really home at the same time a lot.
Yeah. And when you spend that many hours at work, I feel like it's really draining, right?
Yeah.
So when you go home, you don't necessarily have the energy to do anything with...
You were always tired.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me. Whenever we would go on vacation, Greg would spend the first 3 days sleeping. Like, remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, I remember we went to New Orleans for New Year's, and Greg slept the first 3 days of vacation because he was just so exhausted from his everyday life. We were also wanting to move out of Michigan and perhaps out of the country to find somewhere else to live. And traveling overland gave us the ability to really explore places.
Easy. I mean, we have all our stuff with us.
Yeah.
So if there's some activities that we want to do, we can do those. We don't have to
Pack up.
every time we want to move.
Yeah.
It just make things a lot more convenient.
Overlanding has taught me that I am open to more than I thought I was. I am typically a planner, and overlanding has forced me to be much more open, much more flexible. I feel like at 40 years old, I am learning new things about my personality and myself that I was not expecting. Before we got on the road, we went to Overland Expo. We went to our first expo, I think, 3 or 4 years before we got on the road, and we met people at that expo that we are still friends with today, 6 years later, and people that really changed our trajectory as far as overlanding. It was just invaluable experience and information for us. And now that we've been on the road 3 years, 2 different rigs, we feel like we have acquired some knowledge that we want to now help other people who are getting into this.
I don't know that this is like unique to overlanding, but for sure we met so many people along the way that have been awesome to us and very helpful, and we've been also trying to be those people to some other people, right?
Right.
To pay it back or pay it forward. I don't know how you say that. But...
I mean, there was this one couple at Mountain West who came back probably 6 times over the weekend. And him and Greg were like sitting under a tree for hours. And Greg was like giving him ideas. I mean, it was so cool.
Yeah, no, it was super fun.
We started in a truck camper and it never quite felt like home. We didn't have a place for our stuff and we just knew that we wanted something else. So we started, traveling with other people, meeting people along the road, people in schoolies and sprinters and in ambulances. And an ambulance to us just seemed like the perfect base vehicle because we didn't have to downsize our living quarters. We could still carry 4 seasons worth of stuff and a lot of tools. and still be comfortable inside while also having that off-road capability.
Yeah, ambulances are great because they are like safe, right? Ambulances are crash tested, rollover tested, so you know that you start from a base that is like well built and robust. There's a lot of stuff that you can reuse from an ambulance. I mean, we have, in terms of comfort, we have everything we want. We have AC, we have a big fridge freezer, we have microwave and oven.
Stuff that we wouldn't get in a smaller footprint.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so during the build, we were also conscious of the environment. As much as possible, we tried to reuse material that were in the ambulance. And for a battery, for example, we're using Tesla batteries that came from a crashed Model S, such a way that basically we are upcycling those batteries instead of being in a landfill. We just, use that for our living quarters.
And as you were saying, I think a lot of people are seeing overlanding in one of two ways. One, it's they see it like, oh, it's gonna be like living the dream every day, the dream, and you're not working or working just very little, and everything is just
beautiful
and butterflies, and which is most of the day it's not true. I mean, you still have the reality that things are breaking, the weather is not always great.
I still wouldn't change it. I'm still happy we're doing it.
Absolutely.
I just think that there is a tendency online for people to sugarcoat it a lot.
That or the
we break down all the time. I probably post more pictures of breakdowns than anything else, because I think people need to see it, right? Like, oh, you're broken down again. I personally feel like it's important to be an advocate for the realities of it, the good and the bad, because I want people who get into this lifestyle to know what they're getting into, and I want them to enjoy it. And I think if they understand it before they get into it, they will be happier in the long run.